Alexa, stop. All right. Welcome back. Thank you again for tuning in. I really appreciate you joining me today. I have to always start off with coffee. It's about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm filming on a Thursday afternoon. It's not too late for coffee, but it's not my first today. Just in case you don't know, my drink is a Venti white mocha. I get 3 extra shots of espresso, and I don't have whipped cream on it. I also get extra ice, so it's mostly espresso, a splash of milk. I don't like to think about the milk. I really don't like milk, but I can handle a tiny bit in my coffee. And I'm pretty much addicted. My hair, oh God. I'm about to get a haircut soon. I am not used to having this long of hair, and it's kind of like all over the place. Like I guess I should zip this down a little bit, but I don't know. Just not used to it. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Again, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you watching. I am in the process of trying to build up subscribers, and I have a couple influencers out there that I am kind of studying and using them as a unofficial like mentor. And I realize that there's a lot of things I need to do. I'm trying to monetize my account, and I don't know, it's, to me, it's just like fun. So I'm not trying to do it for money. It would be really cool to like do something fun and make money. But what really motivates me is having like a project to work on. And I say this all the time. So like it's a lot of work, like filming, lighting, planning and editing and finalizing, and I just like the journey of the production. I'm not necessarily like a front of the camera type of person. I've taken some drama classes. I've done some like acting. Oh, excuse me. Oh my gosh. Might cut that out. Anyway, I've taken some acting classes and also have been part of like some drama productions throughout like my grade schooling. But I'm really, really, really shy, and I have to like hide like behind sunglasses and sometimes like extra accessories and gloves, and I have to like sometimes just kind of hide behind it. And I don't know, like I'm trying to create like a character, like someone that is obviously me but also like incognito. I wish I could look like Max Headroom or like Daft Punk, but I don't know, everything is so weird nowadays, like with AI, and I don't know what I believe anymore. I don't watch a lot of like regular television. I tend to watch the same like 5 shows over and over and over. I'm not really waiting for updates and series, and I just don't really want to be like connected to like a television show or a series. But I do love like YouTube, and I'm completely inspired by YouTube, and I find YouTube a little bit more entertaining. I get to like see people like nerd out in things and like focus on like micro focus on like the things that they like, and I'm very interested in other people's perspectives. I find that more interesting than the news or even just like news stories. I just don't know what to believe. And I think even YouTube is also questionable, and there's a lot of AI out there, and it's just kind of annoying. And I know some people just like believe it. Like recently I made these like AI videos of me dancing and my friend Andrea dancing, and all I did was like upload a video, and it like had us do these like viral dancing. It's not even like me, it's not even my body. The photo I took was like 30 years old. It's like when I was like in my 20s, but I'm like dancing. And my mom, I posted the video on my Instagram. My mom's not very much on Instagram, but it also sent a link to my Facebook, and most of my family's on Facebook, and my mom was like, how did you do that? Like, I haven't ever seen you move like that. And I guess she was questioning it, but there were other people that were like, you go get it, and I don't know. Maybe people are just trying to humor me or something, but to me it was obvious fake. But also I think like people just believe anything, and I'm one of those people that questions everything. So nowadays I'm like, don't even know what to believe. I question. And I don't know, it's just so weird. So I created this YouTube and my Patreon account hopefully to take you away from all of that stuff. And the problem is YouTube there's a lot of blocking, and I'm trying to work with that. Like I am always messing with the sound, and in retrospect, looking back at my own productions, I feel like my sound is really fucked up, and I'm working with that. I'm trying to fix that, but a lot of the sound is messed up because I have to like use YouTube editing devices to take away audio, and so it feels like audio cuts out a lot, and I don't know. If you have been drinking and taking shots every time I say I don't know, you may be drunk by now, because that should be like the word of the day. I don't know. take a shot every time I say I don't know. I'm obviously in a place where I just don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I work, I engage with my friends and family, and I come home and I make videos and edit, and I'm trying to be creative constantly. Trying to do like self-care, like I'm working on like always like working on myself, like been getting facials and doing different treatments and stuff to like continue to age gracefully. And I didn't pay attention to how much sun I was getting exposed to in my 20s, and I feel like my skin's paying for it in my 40s. Anyhow, I really appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully I haven't bored you to death. Today we're gonna watch like some random stuff. I kind of want to like tap into this era. Like I recently, speaking of like social media, I recently connected with a friend of mine from grade school. I would say she and I probably maybe like befriended each other maybe like in the third grade or second. We definitely grew up in the same community, and my grandma was really friendly with everyone in the community, so a lot of people knew me from my grandma. And I believe my grandma and my friend Claudia's mom were friends. I can't remember, but she was just one of those people that I had known like throughout grade school, and I had kind of moved several times in elementary school, and I would always go back to this one elementary school that is across the street from my grandma's house. It's called Nelson Elementary, and I would always end up back at Nelson Elementary. And so it's funny because that's like the elementary school my mom went to, and my dad, and most of my aunts and uncles on both sides of my family. And so, I don't know, in a weird way, that school was more impactful than the years that I went to school in Los Angeles. And a lot of that happened in my early years. So Nelson Elementary was just one of those things that like stuck with me like my whole life. And meeting a lot of friends there throughout the years. They're still friends I am friends with today. So if you follow me and you have been my social media friend for years, like I'm talking about AOL to MySpace and Facebook and all the things that like lead us to where we are today. Like it's literally started in the late 90s when I got AOL and I started to look for like my classmates from just a couple of years before. Like my graduating class was 95. So in like 97 I had AOL, and I instantly like looked up some of like my friends and found like my friend Andrea right away. And this is pre-cell phone, or like early cell phone at least. So AOL was like the modern way to connect with someone. Now we know all these social media platforms that help. And anyway, back to grade school. So in the fourth grade, I recently found this class photo, and it's really funny. So like if you look really closely, you will see that there's two of me. I'm in two spots, and there's a reason for that. I actually remember this. My mom was really like specific with like photos, and anyhow, like I don't think I was like smiling in this one or one of them, and she didn't like it, so I had to do retakes, which was something that happened a few weeks after you would take the class photo. And they would like, these weren't just like my class photos, these were like my photos that my mom would take every year of my brother and I. So she always wanted us to like smile, she'd give them out or whatever. Anyway, so she sent me back to do the retakes, and you can tell I have like a little bit better haircut, and a popped collar and like a sweater, and I don't know. It was the 80s. But this class photo is really cool because it has the one friend of mine that I'm talking about. Her name is Claudia. And Claudia and I were friends throughout elementary school. And I only went to the junior high and the high school like for just a couple years. Like the elementary school was Nelson Elementary and the junior high was Kasner. I only went to Kasner for like 1 year. And that was like the middle school. And then the high school was Clovis West. And I went there just for freshman and sophomore year. Yeah. My grade school was all over the place. My first 2 years of schooling, my parents were getting divorced, and I was in like 5 schools in my first grade. It was insane. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. So back to the 4th grade, back to my class photo. A few of these people I'm still friends with on social media, like Marie Lopez, Claudia Robles, Rochelle Gayton. There's a couple people in here that I know still, but not on social media. Marie is kind of quiet, but I've been friends with her on social media for a long time. There's actually a couple people in this classroom that have died also. And the teacher, her name is Esther Price, and I think it's changed. I think her name is Esther Smith now. But I really liked her. This was her very first class, and I think she had just graduated from college, and this was her first class as a teacher, and she let us know that year. And I remember when I was in high school, I would go and hang out at the school ground with my friends and bump into her, and she would talk with me, and she would tell me that she was sorry because in elementary school that she was a new teacher, and she would have us like run and do like, if we talked or got in trouble, we'd go and do like a lap around the baseball diamond that you could see from like the classroom windows. Like we would literally go and do a lap. I don't know if any of you of my classmates remember this, but she apologized in like my high school years for that, and I did remember, and I did do a lot of laps because I talked a lot, but there were no hard feelings. Like I think that wasn't the worst type of discipline. Like we learned a lot of really great things. She was very patient with me. I was very, I don't know the word. I mean, I had a lot of energy, and I was definitely dealing with a lot. Like my parents being divorced, going through the divorce, change. I mean, just whatever was happening with my parents, I was totally feeling it and trying not to. And that's just like a whole nother story. But this classroom was one of the most memorable grade school years of my life, and I find it really cool that I'm still kind of friendly with some of these people. A few of these people, like, they just don't update so much on social media, which makes sense, but it was just a great year. So I wanted to share that because I want to watch like some 80s video that takes me back to like my 4th grade year, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. There's so many songs that totally I could think about that were like 80s in that time. But this was my 4th grade class, and I'm in the photo twice, and I got some friends in here, and oh yeah, like this other kid in my class, he is the grandson of Cesar Chavez, and I remember when we were in grade school, he brought him to class, and we met him. And I went home and told my grandma about meeting Cesar Chavez, and she was so like impressed and wanted to like know how. And so I asked my friend David, his name is David. I said, "Hey, can my grandma meet your dad? Like she she like marched with him, and she like was just wanted to like didn't believe that I actually met him. And so David arranged for his grandfather to come pick him up from school one day, and my grandma picked me up, and Cesar Chavez and my grandma danced, or not danced, they talked. That would have been cool if they danced, actually. I wonder if AI can make that. Anyway, I'm not going to try to make that, it's expensive. My grandma met Cesar Chavez, and I thought it was like really cool. I didn't really know what one camera down. I didn't really know the significance of Cesar Chavez until I was growing up, and I realized. But I was always so proud and excited to like meet him. It's definitely one of those moments that has like lasted my whole life, where I was friends with my classmate was his grandson, and I recently looked him up, and it wasn't like a story. He definitely is Cesar Chavez's grandson. You can look on Wikipedia, and his name is David. He's right here. I've asked some of my classmates if they remember this, and none of them remember. Claudia didn't remember. Marie didn't remember. Rochelle didn't remember. I've chatted with like Damien and a couple other these people, Marlena, and they aren't on social media, but they didn't remember. So I thought like I was tripping. I was like, "There's no way I totally know that I met Cesar Chavez, and David was his grandson." And I knew David for several years. Like we went like second, third, fourth grade, and I think he left that school and moved somewhere in the valley. And in high school, like I think I bumped into him, and I remember he had a sister. Her name was Julia. And it was really funny because like she was the only person I knew that had a black Cabbage Patch Kid, but that girl Julia had a black Cabbage Patch Kid. That was his sister's name. But they were a cool family, and his mom was really nice. And I think I went to like a Chuck E. Cheese or Showbiz Pizza birthday of his, and then one of our mutual friends had like a sleepover, and we were both there. I had a lot of really great memories of David, and met his grandfather a couple times. And I just think that's pretty cool. Like, I don't know. A lot of people are like hating on Cesar Chavez right now, and I'm not trying to take any steam away from the victims, but it's just different because I don't know. I feel like he was one of my inspiration, idols, just someone like that. It felt like if someone this close could do something with their life, anyone could do it. So it's sad that these allegations exist, but my childhood memories of meeting him are still valid, and I hope the victims are okay, and I hope he's been dead for 30 years, so it's kind of weird that he's even being canceled, but that's what it's like nowadays. So anyway, to my fourth grade class, I think you all are amazing. I'm so excited to be connected to some of you. Even if we weren't extremely friendly in that classroom, it's so cool to see you guys like just out in the world being like amazing adults. And Claudia, we were chatting recently, and I told you I was gonna play a song for you. Like, I think what I think about the most in the era of 80s is, of course, like Madonna, but I liked this song called True Colors by Cyndi Lauper. I specifically remember, whoops, I almost played some Madonna because it heard me say Madonna. I remember once walking into my classroom really early, and my teacher, Esther Price, Mrs. Price, or Miss Price, Um, she had the music on. She was like doing some classwork, grading papers. I was always that kid that like was in class early for some reason. My grandma just lived across the street, and even before antisocial was a thing, I was totally like antisocial. So I went to class really early, and I saw my teacher, like, she said I could sit in my desk and just be quiet, pretty much. And she was having a moment. She was drinking coffee, listening to um, music, and it was a little loud, like, I could hear it. Grading papers. Um, so I specifically remember this moment. Um, and this song by Cyndi Lauper called True Colors came on, and I knew the song, like I loved it, but my teacher started to sing it, and not really loud enough for me to see, and it was just really interesting to see her like sing this song. I don't know. I was like fixated on it. I was like in the fourth grade, probably 8 years old. Anyway, I think it's a really great in my I call it my random playlist. Um, but this song is still in rotation. Like, I love Cyndi Lauper. True Colors is probably my favorite Cyndi Lauper song. It's just really good. And for some reason, it reminds me of that fourth grade class where I saw my teacher lip syncing it and singing in the classroom. Anyway, I told Claudia that I was going to talk about her. Claudia's amazing. I bumped into her several times over the years, and I'm always excited when I like find her online, because I feel like some people just don't like being online. But I think Claudia and I have connected several times over the years. But recently we connected again on Instagram, and she looks great. And she looks great, and she sounds great, and you could just tell someone feels great by like their presence. And so I did mention that I was going to talk about her. One time when I was in my 18 or 19 years old and I worked at McDonald's, she came up to the McDonald's that I worked at. She actually used to go through the drive-through with like her boyfriend every now and then, and she would see me and like yell my name and just say hi. She was always really like friendly. But one time specifically, this McDonald's that I worked at was on this like main boulevard, and in the 90s, like a lot of teenagers would cruise the boulevard. And anyhow, I would always see Claudia like kind of hanging out with her friends, cruising the boulevard. And my store that I worked at, my McDonald's, because of all of like the riffraff in the parking lot, our cafe closed really early on weekends, and our drive-thru was open till like 1 in the morning. So I remember once, like, she was knocking on the door, asking if she could use the restroom, and like begging for me to let her in, and I couldn't let her in, because if I let her in, one of the people that I work with would have told my boss that I let someone in after hours, which is kind of like a compromise of security. Anyway, so I told her, like, I can't let you in, but I'll give you some toilet paper and you can like pop a squat over by the Bob's Big Boy. And she was like, no. And so I ran and grabbed toilet paper, and we only had like these like massive rolls that were like, I don't know, they lasted like a month. It was like this massive industrial roll that was like literally like 10 rolls of toilet paper just all in one big roll. And I just thought it would be funny because we didn't have anything smaller. And I don't want to give her like McDonald's like brown napkins. So I gave her that whole roll of toilet paper, and she walked back to the car with it. She looked like completely stunned. But I was just trying to be funny. I brought up that story recently to her, and she doesn't remember. So maybe this visual might help remember, or maybe just hearing me say it will spark the memory. But anyways, like I was saying, I want to dedicate this episode to Claudia, my childhood friend, who I am so excited is still around, since it seems like half of my classmates from elementary school aren't any longer. But cheers, Claudia. I hope you're doing great today. All right, so thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate your company. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode and my little stories about elementary school and my classmates and teachers. And one day I'll get into more detail. I did want to tell that Cesar Chavez story about my classmate David and just all my classmates. And so hopefully everyone's doing good. Hopefully none of them are offended that I spoke about them. I tried to speak nicely. Claudia is amazing. Rochelle is amazing. I hope David is amazing. I'm not connected with David too much anymore, but I have looked him up recently just to like verify my story, and ouch. He's definitely Cesar Chavez's grandson. He works for the foundation, and his mom was Cesar Chavez's daughter. That's why he has a different last name, and I think his last name is Villarino. And on Wikipedia, I could see his sister, and her name is Thanks again. Like and subscribe. And for exclusive content, please follow my Patreon page. Link in the bio. So the reason I created a Patreon account was because I kept on getting blocked from with all of the video footage that I was showing, and I was doing all these interesting things to like try to edit the videos so that they weren't being, I guess they use like an AI type of app, and it scans the video, and if anything for a certain amount of time is on there where it's copyrighted, it flags it. So it was just a bummer. Like for every video I post out, I would have to edit it at least a second time, or it just wouldn't be posted. Like they would, I think I posted 12 videos last year, and only 6 of them made it up. So Patreon allows me to post unedited, full-on, copyrighted stuff, whether it's media or whatever. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to share, stories and topics with you. And so if you subscribe to my Patreon, you'll get this unedited exclusive stuff. It may be something you like. You never know. I'm still going to be posting on YouTube, but I'll have a lot less post. But I'm going to try to get away with whatever I can get away with. Like, that's the idea. So follow my Patreon account. It's going to be really, really good. Like, I'm still working on it, but it's going to be great.